Hey y'all, it's Alex and welcome back to my channel. Over here is the piece from yesterday, and I think you know where you can find that one. It was day 18, the prompt word was misfit. Today's prompt word is sling, and the color we have is Ecolines 205, which is lemon yellow primary. I don't know why they have primary in parentheses there, but I think this is the brightest color we have for this entire prompt series. Very random. I was working on this piece a few days ago for a possible Draw This in Your Style challenge. I was wondering what you guys thought. I'm not sold on it. There will be a poll in the top corner about whether or not it would make a good Draw This in Your Style challenge, and I'm doing a whole bunch of those because I passed 3 milestones over on Instagram and then 2 over on here, all in the span of since the middle of September, so super exciting. For today's thumbnail, since we have sling, we're going to put a girl's arm in a sling. My thought is this little witch is sitting in the infirmary of her school and waiting for better treatment than just having her arm slung up near her chest. While perspective usually isn't quite my forte, I spent a lot of time making sure that the perspective of the tiled floor that I wanted to have and the bench that she was sitting on were near perfect, at least. While I was working on her face, I grabbed blindly for one of my erasers and didn't realize that I'd grabbed a mechanical pencil. I was not thinking very much in the initial part of this line art, I will admit. They looked very much the same out of the corner of my eye. But at least I was able to erase the very dark pencil that kind of made it look like she had a carrot nose. I could have definitely done a little bit better on giving the girl perspective. Her legs look a little bit out of proportion with the rest of her body, but definitely not the worst foreshortened legs I have ever drawn. To kind of make that easier on myself, I did have her toes pointing down. And over the course of making this piece, the story that I came up with is, since in the magic world there's Quidditch, which is kind of like magic lacrosse, I decided that there has to be some form of other magical sports. So originally she had penny loafers, like she'd just kind of injured herself in her normal school uniform, but I decided that didn't exactly make sense. So I decided instead that she messed up her arm while playing some form of magical soccer. So I changed her penny loafers into cleats, which isn't the worst replacement I've done, considering I had already lined them as penny loafers by that point. I'm also not 100% happy with the expression I gave her. It's a little wonky, in my opinion. I'm also not very good at drawing tears, I've found out. I used to draw them a lot better. I'm gonna have to go back and see how I used to draw them, because I feel like that's something that I've been able to accomplish before at some point. When I was trying to figure out what hairstyle to give her, I was so very tempted to give her space buns, but considering that there's a good many of my pieces that I've given buns to, I decided that I would go with pigtails instead. The first pigtails I started drawing definitely gave me more like Spinel from the Steven Universe movie vibes, but then I kind of like pulled them down a little bit. They're still big and poofy. I wanted her to have really big hair. For all the posters in the background, I originally had a few ideas of like cheesy health graphic posters that you usually find in school infirmaries, but they just looked a little awkward, and I didn't want to have to worry about actually writing anything that made sense on them, so I just continued to use my made-up magic language that I've been using throughout most of this prompt series. It's kind of inspired by the Elvish writing that was used in the Adventure Zone taco box. I don't exactly, the Taco's Magical School of Cantrips, Magic, and something or other. I see the box, but I'm too lazy to go over and grab it. I'm also gonna apologize now for the shorter video. I did manage to record this one ahead of time, at least the drawing portion, but the audio that I'm doing right now, I only have an hour or so to record this and also get on to recording tomorrow's piece. This weekend is very, very busy for me. while I was coloring her in, I wanted to make sure that nothing felt too pristine about this piece. So there are some splotches on the walls. I went through down along the bottom of the piece once I colored in all the tiles and splattered some ink across it. Because you know how in at least most schools I've seen, they have speckled tiles. Like, I've never seen a school that has single colored tiles unless they're just black, you know? And I mean, it's also an infirmary, so you figure people have probably come in here not in pristine condition. That's like the most PG way I can put that. I tried mixing some black watercolor in with the yellow watercolor like I did yesterday for a lot of the shading, and the Ecoline black is definitely a very blue tone black, therefore it makes a very green shadow color. So it looks a little gross, especially where I put in that splotch on the floor. Don't know what actually got spilled there, but that stain ain't coming off anytime soon. I almost wish that when I did her eyes, I wish I would have made them yellow as well. The gray I used is just a little bit too light, and they kind of blend in with everything. But my thought was, if she has yellow hair, she would most likely have blue eyes or brown eyes, and I wouldn't want to do those in yellow, because the way that I've been picturing all of these is anything that is in the color of the day is actually in that color of the day, or is like slightly tinted that color. You know? The posters in the background that are already yellow are actually yellow. The poster in the middle, it could be like pink in actuality. Just light enough that in black and white it comes across as pretty much white. So I didn't want to have her eyes come across as actually yellow as well. But I mean, it is a magic school, so it's possible that she could have yellow eyes. She's got highlighter color hair anyway. While I was coloring in the floor tiles, I was very tempted to make one tile in particular just off of the pattern. In places that are being built rather quickly, the attention to detail is kind of a little bit lax. So it's more common to see tiles mixed around, or patterns broken, or just like lines not quite matching up. But it would just have bugged me too much to purposefully put a tile in the wrong space. So I decided against it. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me work on this piece, and I think it turned out pretty good, despite the fact that I don't really like this color very much. I think a blue or a pink would have been a lot better for this composition, but it is what it is. If you feel so inclined, hit that subscribe button and check me out on my other social media handles. Thanks, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.